when we were delivering robes, gowns to seniors all over the Plainfield School District. I took this picture last spring out in Plainfield. All right, so I'm just going to try to maybe start and get this line of the sky and then where these trees are. So I'm just trying to look at this shape right here in the photograph. And I think I'm even going to check. So that line, it's a little bit above the center line, but I think I do already have it too big. So it's going to come down a little bit. And I wonder if I have the tree needs to be over just a tiny bit. Okay, and so then the tree, this big front trees, this whole thing of trees is going to come down all the way to the bottom. And I think what I'm going to try to look at next is where the road goes. This is kind of a hard and unusual perspective because I'm looking down on it. And then I think maybe that top of the field is here. And I'm trying to be just a little more careful with my drawing because I feel like I haven't been lately as careful as I should be. And this time I am actually drawing on that terracotta. It's a pastel premier, but it's the terracotta paper. Okay, so. So now my eye level is, way above the barn. And so I have to be careful because it's not something I'm used to seeing, looking down on buildings. And so I have to try to see if I can get that right. But more than anything right now, I just need to see that the barn is in kind of the right place. So just kind of a placeholder here for the barn. And it's definitely wider than it is. And it's pretty shallow pitch to the roof. So maybe drawing that triangle will help me also. If I divide up that shape, I might be able to see it a little better. Or maybe not. All right, so there's that, and the road comes past it, and there's some trees right behind it. And oh yeah, look at that, wow. So that's why it's a really good idea not to spend too much time here on stuff. So if the road comes like here, then the barn's got to be here. Is the barn right at the halfway point? That would be really funny. So close. It's just the back of the front edge of the barn. Okay, yeah, there's more space here. So the barn is going to be back like that, maybe. And maybe that's all I'm going to do on the barn for now, just till I get this, everything else sort of where it belongs. And it's a little road back there, and then this road kind of goes on up the hill. Mhm. Yeah, maybe this is too hard for a demonstration. I wanted to do something that was kind of this time of year in Vermont, and I did have these pictures from last year. So it's, really complicated. So I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I can. That's part of why it's so good to work on simple things, is that you learn to simplify on things that are more simple. And then when you do things that are more complex, you have some idea, sort of an idea of how you need to simplify more complex things. Yeah, so I don't know if this is a shadow back here or another range of, I guess it's a shadow, which is kind of cool. One thing I really do love about cloudy days, sunny days with clouds, is that you can do those cool cloud shadows. Even if I was going to start all this as one thing, like when I got ready to start my color, if that was my plan, is like, okay, I'm just going to start it all the same, I would still draw everything in, even, and then I might, just paint right over it. I think there's some little houses back there. I actually can't see well enough to know right now. So I'm going to wait and figure that out a little later, if I want them back there or not. Um, and I am thinking about putting these telephone poles in. Same thing, I won't paint them in now, but I want to see them. They're going to be place markers for me, and hopefully help me draw things more right. So there's one, so this one, there's one here. So in this case, the vertical lines of the barn are not in perspective, but all these horizontal lines are, and they all run uphill because they're quite a ways below the vanishing point. And can't really even tell. It's like the front edge is such a, well, okay, so the thing is, this is coming at a slightly steeper angle. This is the lowest line on the vanishing point. And this one will be at a slightly less steep angle, the bottom of the roof, because it's closer to your horizon line. And then these guys right here, these ones, they actually are coming together at a vanishing point too. But as long as you don't let them get further apart at the back than they are at the front, then you don't have to worry about that too much. So they can be parallel lines, but what they can't do is they can't appear to get further apart as they go further back. All right, so I think I've got my roof peaked too much. And this line is definitely wrong. Yeah. And I got to get rid of that right now for a second. Oh, it's because it's not right in the peak, actually, is it? It's, oh, 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 oh. Okay, so now I have my barn up too high. So I'm just going to lower it down some more, down to here. And just remember, as someone in our class who's very wise said, if you could do it one time, you can do it again. And so it's okay that I had to move it because I can do it again. It's like 25 degree angle. I mean, I told you it was going to be hard. Okay, and so now when I put that post in again, that electric line, I can get it in there and have space for it to come above. Well, it's not above the roof enough, is it? Oh, that suddenly looked better. Okay, so there's that one. And then there's these trees right behind the house, the barn. The side of the barn is in shadow. Then there's trees. This is a long barn, a long barn across this side. And this side of the barn is pretty much just straight on to me. So it's going to be pretty much, those horizontal lines are going to be parallel to each other. Okay, and so then I've got this little shrubby thing, and I want to be sure that I get this sense that up here, this land is coming this way, and then going around here. And then here's these trees. All right. Sorry, I seem to have, maybe it's seasonal allergies. Tomorrow I'm taking pictures of here in Rhode Island. It is so stunningly beautiful. It seems like every tree in the city is in bloom. All right, and then we have our usual camel's hump problem. All right, so camel's hump, I did pretty well here. Starts, and where does it end? It ends before here. Also not too bad. So easy to make the mountains way too big. All right, and honestly, I can't really see those over there. Okay, so good. So far, so good. And maybe you just want to watch this part in double time. I actually didn't know I had any of this paper. So, before you asked me why am I using this paper this time, I didn't know I had it. But I also think that it might really be good for this because the colors are all pretty neutral. And this way I'll have this kind of rich red stuff underneath everything. So I do feel like when I work on paper like this, I don't have to, in a way, start so wacko because I've already got the red paper to do the wacky things for me. Okay, so clouds. So the thing about clouds is clouds higher up on your picture are closer to you, and they overlap the clouds that are further away. Actually, what I should do is just try to get this whole shape of the clouds. And just like as the land is going away from you like that, or like that, the sky is going away from you like that. So this is the furthest part away in the land and also the furthest part away in the sky. So, as things get further away, they get a little smaller and they have less contrast, and maybe the colors aren't quite so bright. Maybe, or maybe they are. But the thing to be sure you do, and I think I think I have paintings I did in the past where I did this wrong. I made the clouds lower down, overlapping the clouds further up, and that is the opposite of the way it works. And one day I felt like I noticed that, and I was like, oh my goodness, what have I been doing? Yeah, it was a little scary. So, and was really unhappy with my clouds in the last painting I did. So I was hoping maybe I could draw them better this time. But I also think I'm just going to kind of just make sure I know where they are and where the sky is. And rather than trying to break it up so much. Yeah, okay. So I tried to start with the simplest shapes I could. Well, I wonder if I could bring this, I bet I could bring this down more. I think it is. And some of the things I really liked about this were I liked the clouds, I like the perspective, I like this sort of rolly thing that we got going on here. I didn't know if I could do the road. There were a bunch of teachers' cars in this picture, and also the school buses. So I took all of them out. So hope I haven't made my things so weird and complicated for myself that I can't actually. They were on the road and I took them out of the road. All right, and that's going to kind of go around there, and yeah, okay. These are those those evergreens over here. And then there's more in here than I wanted to get a feeling of in that little place. Alrighty. All right, so I did the best job I could do with my drawing. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to start with the sky. And I am going to try to make as rich and beautiful a sky as I can. Right from the start, I'm not going to do anything at all weird